Hello everyone, I'm CrypticFox, and this is a brief tutorial about how to set up your air scrubber so that you can clean out the carbon dioxide in your air in oxygen not included without having to constantly input water. Intercolony and oxygen not included, controlling your gases is certainly one of the most important tasks. Oxygen in particular is something that's critical in order for your duplicants to survive, but maintaining can be difficult, especially since you will often run out of algae relatively early in the game. Preserving algae can be really important for ensuring that you can produce oxygen when you need it. Controlling carbon dioxide in particular is very important because the duplicants can't breathe it, and if there's too high a concentration of carbon dioxide contained in your base, that limits the amount of oxygen they can have, and the duplicants will suffocate. So in the oxygen overlay, you can see that the carbon dioxide settles toward the bottom. I already had something in place here, so there's not very much carbon dioxide collected here. But generally, you want to set up your scrubber at the lowest point, or alternatively you can set up your scrubber in another enclosed area and try pumping the carbon dioxide into that space so that you're getting a high degree of efficiency out of it. But to create the closed system, you basically want to set up both your air scrubber. But then you're also going to need in your refinement the water purifier. These will need to be connected up by plumbing pipes, of course. Now, your water pump is going to be placed initially in the water, and you're going to need to inject a certain amount of water initially to prime the pump and get the whole system working. So here we're going to feed the water pipe in from our pump directly. This is going to create an output of contaminated water. Now, you can do a straight connection between the two, between the pump and the water purifier, or the scrubber and the water purifier, but I generally prefer to have a little bit of extra pipe just so that I know that I'm going to get some contaminated water in the pipe and ensure that the system maintains itself. And then out of your water purifier, you want to connect the exhaust pipe from that into the intake pipe of your air scrubber again. Now we'll get our duplicants to build all this up, and then I'll show how the system works. But basically, you're going to inject water in through the intake pipe into your scrubber. The scrubber is going to use it to clean the air of carbon dioxide and send out contaminated water, which will flow through the pipe into the water purifier. The water purifier will purify it using sand as a filtration medium, and then it will send the water back through the pipe and into your scrubber again. Once you have this system working, where there's a flow of water coming back from your water purifier, you can disconnect your pump from it where you had the initial connection, and the system will maintain the same amount of water over and over again as it goes through the cycles, because the scrubber consumes 1,000 gallons per second of clean water. It produces 1,000 gallons per second of contaminated water, and the same is true of the water purifier. So you end up creating a closed loop, and you no longer have to inject any water into it. We'll also need to ensure that we have, of course, these two systems connected to the power supply. So we're going to put one into the purifier and one into the scrubber. Okay, so our duplicates have finished building out all the pieces. So now if we go into the plumbing, you can see the flow of water as it moves through the system. So the water pump is pumping it in. It's flowing from the water pump into the purifier, or sorry, from the air scrubber into the purifier. The purifier needs a certain amount of water in it or contaminated water in it before it will start to produce an output. So don't worry if you're not seeing it right away. Once it starts to produce the output, you'll get a fairly regular stream of it coming out. As that gets back to feed into our air scrubber again, you can see that it's now alternating between the pump and with the water that's coming from the purifier. So if we disconnect this connection with the pump, you'll be able to see once they disconnect the piping there that it maintains its own closed loop, and the scrubber will supply the contaminated water needed by the water purifier, and the water purifier will provide the clean water that's needed by the air scrubber. As long as you have sand as a filtration medium and you have power, this system can run indefinitely, and therefore you don't have to build any additional algae terrariums in order to continue to filter out that air, and that will let you conserve your algae from other uses. And you also won't consume all of your water by converting it into contaminated water and having to deal with storage issues of that. I also like to place things that produce carbon dioxide behind here, like the coal generator, simply because by trapping this mechanism behind the scrubber, I ensure that the carbon dioxide that's produced by the coal generator is automatically being scrubbed by the air scrubber. You can do this in another method and have your air scrubber set in a different place and try to pump carbon dioxide to it. And that may be necessary once your base gets to be larger. If I continue to expand downwards, the carbon dioxide is constantly going to seek the lowest level in your base. So the air scrubber may no longer be ideally placed in order to do that scrubbing. But for now, this one suits my base perfectly. I'm, as always, CrypticFox. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll see all of you next time.